So the Biden administration come out with its equity report, right? So we all know that numbnuts. I think on the first day he was sworn in as the alleged whatever he's alleged to be doing. Put in some executive order about equity, and so all departments of the administration are doing things to increase equity. Every federal agency under the executive branch, so 90 agencies. That right in and of itself is worrying some. Why is the government so freaking big? But, anyways, let's talk about this. What is equity, right? Equity is a made up thing by the left because it's not equality. I'm all for equality. That's a foundation, right? Equality under the law. People are treated the same under the eyes of the law. But equity, that means everyone should get the same outcome, right? So even if you have no talent, you're a lazy piece of shit, you deserve the same amount of everything else that anyone else got. Who come up with that theory, right? A lazy ass. So, anyways, let's take a look at what we got going on here with the Department of Justice, the Department of Defense, and the Department of Education. So, the Department of Justice is talking about they're going to advance equity for underserved communities nationwide. The Equity Action Plan focuses on prioritizing equity and increasing opportunity in five key areas: federal financial assistance. So, take your money, take my money in the form of taxes and hand it out to the underserved, the POCs. Access to grants, language access. Uh, if you're a U.S. citizen, you probably speak English fairly well. So what do you need language access for? I wonder who's that for. Could it be the 2 million illegal aliens they let in so far and the millions more they plan on letting in? Interesting. This goes on to talk about stakeholder engagement. A bunch of other bullshit. So they're looking to serve uh, underserved communities, especially communities of color. But I bet that color doesn't include Asians, right? Because according to this, these communities of color experience higher rates of violent crime. Well, whose fault is that? Most crime that's committed is committed against people that the perpetrator knows, people from their own area, right? Most people that get killed by someone the same uh, skin tone, right? So most white people are killed by white people, most black people are killed by black people, etc. So, I don't know what they're talking about with this equity bullshit. So anyways, they're going to leverage. I hate when they use these term leverage. That just means they're going to use it or utilize it. They're going to leverage federal funds. So they're going to take your money and give it to someone else to encourage grantees to include equity considerations in the provision of federally funded services. This is basically a federal grift. Nonprofits are going to exploit this. This is going to use this to launder grant and donation monies. This is just a political ploy by the lefties to help their political buddies, you know? And this whole thing with the language equity and all this, does someone that's in this country illegally, do they have uh, the full complete constitutional rights and protections that a U.S. citizen has. You know, I don't know. Someone, if you know, if you're an attorney, make a comment down below and let me know what's up with that. Anyways, on to the woke Department of Defense. So they're going to equalize outcomes for employees and partners across racial, sexual, and gender lines. What the fuck does that mean? So they're saying that the DoD historically focused on increasing equity within the DoD community, but now they're going to expand that. The collective actions described in the plan represent a shift in the department's approach and focus to better ensure that we leverage, there's that word again, our capabilities to create opportunities for all Americans. I'm pretty sure most Americans have a lot of opportunity already. And the Department of Defense, your job is to defend the country, not to provide opportunity for every goddamn Tom, Dick, and Harry walking down the streets of anywhere USA. So the DoD announced it will seek to rearrange its supply chain in order to open up opportunities for underserved communities. Doesn't this administration think it's done enough to fuck up supply chains, or at least not enough to fix the fucked up supply chains? Then they're going to focus on how extremist or dissident ideologies violate fundamental principles of the department. Dissident ideologies. So if someone doesn't agree with you, that's dissident. So now the DoD wants to hunt down people that have a difference of opinion and, extremist views. We all know how this administration defines extremist, right? They find a white person that isn't woke, that's an extremist. And the article I read said that the DoD went on to boast about its increased tolerance for military service by transgender soldiers. That's insulting to a transgender that you have to tolerate them. If you tolerate someone, that means you're putting up with their bullshit. These transgender folks, I don't think they belong in the military, right? You're going to have some chick who thinks she's a guy, and she's going to be able to, what is she going to be in the barracks with the men? And you're going to put some guy with a schlong with the women? That's just stupidity. Then let's talk about this quote here from the Department of Education. As we enter a new era of possibility for our nation, education must be at the forefront of our recovery, rebuilding, and resiliency efforts. To meet this potential, our nation's education system must reckon with and address the long-standing disparities that students from underserved communities face in achieving equal education opportunity. Maybe some of these communities should take responsibility for themselves, and the parents should emphasize education and achievement and get their damn kids into bed before midnight and feed them breakfast before sending them to school. And, I have a little bit of experience with this because I have several relatives that are teachers, and I was a substitute teacher for a little bit several years back. And you're dealing with these kids, first, second graders. I'm hungry. Didn't you eat breakfast? No. Well, no wonder why these freaking underserved communities, the people that are underserving these children are their own parents. You don't send your kid to school on an empty stomach. Who's going to be able to learn on an empty stomach? What time did you, I'm tired, I'm sleepy. What time did you go to bed last night? Midnight? Why is a 6, 7-year-old kid going to bed at midnight? And all this woke bullshit, all this equity. Did anyone ever hear Potato Head Joe Biden talk about this crap anytime before uh 2019? He doesn't know what any of this stuff is because he ain't doing any of it. This guy, he's lucky to know what day of the week it is. You guys all seen him. I mean, he said stupid shit his whole life, but now he walk in a room staring out into space, not knowing is is ridiculous. So, you know, and that redheaded broad, Peppermint Patty there, Jen Psaki. She's on some podcast and she says, and this is a quote, "We are not sending the president to Ukraine." Who's this we? This is Obama's henchman. They're not sending the president to Ukraine. Doesn't the president decide for himself where he's going and not going? She didn't say that he decided not to go. She says, we're not sending him. It's pretty clear that, that guy, he's not in charge, which is probably, would we want him in charge? But I don't want the people who are in charge either. And then Psaki, on this podcast she was on, I mean, this is not, she's a joke and a half, but she's moving on to MSNBC anyways. She said, he's ready for anything. The man likes fast cars and aviators. Okay, so he likes a certain type of sunglasses and that makes him ready for anything? She's an idiot. Joe Biden is freaking senile and the USA's fucked. I'll probably talk more about how I think the USA is over and done with. It's going to take probably several more decades before the US is just completely, but I probably won't be around to see it. But the way things are now and the direction we're headed is not looking good. All right, I hope I'm wrong, but doesn't seem like it. All right, everyone, I'm going to wrap this one up.